Minister has asked Scotland Yard to review the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. Mr. and Mrs. McCann had been calling for a full, independent review of the police investigation into what happened to their daughter, who disappeared in Portugal 4 years ago. Downing Street said Mr. Cameron and the Home Secretary Theresa May asked for the review in response to that request because, they said it, of the exceptional nature of the case. Number 10 denied the government was directing police on an operational matter, saying it was done at the request of the Home Secretary, agreed by Sir Paul Stephenson. That's not a direction. So how will this review work, and what are the chances of a breakthrough? Mark Williams-Thomas was a police detective. He's a criminologist specialising in abducted and missing children. He's very familiar with the Madeleine McCann case. Most of us know this sort of thing from TV programmes, and we can imagine detectives going through the paperwork, but it'll be more complicated than that.
It will, and what needs to happen now is obviously there needs to be full cooperation. We don't know the degree to which the British police are going to have access to that information. I understand the Portuguese are going to cooperate, so therefore they're going to open all those files. Of course, there are some logistical elements of it because they are in Portuguese, so they will need to be translated into English in order for the British detectives to look at it. I understand there's a specific team that is being put together as we speak, and that team will come from SCD5, which is the Crime Directorate. There is a specialist team within that who focus on child homicide. And from that team, under the lead of a commander, who I know, and is a very, very good commander, will take lead of that. And at some stage, I'm sure they will attend Portugal to start those negotiations. Of course, what is crucial here is, will it help? And will it take them any further forward? What they need to do now is to set aside any grievances, any positions that Portuguese think that this is the British police coming in to be critical. But it's about, if there is an opportunity to find something that either sits within that file, that either hasn't been done or needs to be explored further, then it's really important that a fresh pair of eyes is able to assist in that. And of course the British police, through the Metropolitan Police, have experience and will be able to bring that to the inquiry.
A child is missing, and so that's always worth trying. What's the likelihood? Is there any specific thing you think that they might be able to turn up?
I think there is. I think that undoubtedly with a new set of eyes, and these will be people who have experience of dealing with very critical instance homicides, missing children, they will certainly find information. They will find information because lines of inquiries either haven't been pursued, there will be people who perhaps have been identified but never interviewed.
Even in this most public of cases?
Absolutely, and that will be because not necessarily the Portuguese haven't had the experience, but simply because logistically wise they may not have been able to do it. It's a very transient community in that area, and there'll be people who are perhaps never interviewed, although they were spoken about simply because they left the country. They will identify leads, they will identify lines of inquiry that haven't been pursued. The key, of course, to this is, will any of those lead the police to encourage the Portuguese police to open up the inquiry and ultimately establish what happened to Madeleine?
And so that might involve re-interviewing people, completely fresh inquiries?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a two-stage process, in so much as at the present moment in time the British police are going to cast an eye over the investigation. They're going to bring a new set of perspectives, views, values, background, experience. It is only once they've brought that together, and that will take a number of months, that they will then speak with the Portuguese police. They'll be coordinating the whole time to establish whether or not the investigation needs to be opened and what resources the British can assist the Portuguese with by speaking to people, by doing the investigation. This is a Portuguese-led investigation. The British police are not going in there taking the lead. What they are going in there is to try and assist and provide an insight to the knowledge and experience that they have as police officers. And I think it's important to stress, why the Metropolitan Police? Well, every single police force in this country has officers who have the capability of conducting a review. The reason it's the Metropolitan Police is that if you go into most countries, and I travel the world talking around these issues, most countries consider the Metropolitan Police, i.e. New Scotland Yard, as being the team of detectives or the crack that sit within the UK, rather similar to the FBI that go out and solve crimes. And that's very much why the Metropolitan Police are involved, because they have this air of authority and knowledge.
Well, we wish them well with it. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Mark Williams-Thomas.